You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that then. While I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the court. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckasha here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the merchandise page, and of course check out the blog section as well. We do got a great show lined up for you tonight. We're going to talk some Monday Night Football, the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. We're going to talk problems in New York, and imagine that Carson Wentz is hurt again. And there's other riddled of injuries as well. And of course you got the infamous game of Guess Who. But speaking of injury and somebody who's not injured, Mr. Brandon BC Combs is not injured, and here on the show tonight with the Blackhawks hat. What's going on, BC?
Somebody who's not injured at all. And anyway, what's going on, Michael Buckheiser? What is going on, Man Hour Nation? Belly Up Sports, 313 The Flash, all our people over in the UK drinking their tea and eating their crumpets. What is going on, man?
I don't know, man. I just got a text from my wife because we've been gone for, about 48 hours or so, and we found dog poop in our bed. So apparently McGraw is upset with us, and he pooped in the bed. So he's like, leave me again and see what happens. So
I would have one dog less than what I had if I came home to that.
Not happy about that. But what I am happy about is Mr. Tori Anderson being on the show tonight. What's going on, Tori?
I'm not very happy about it.
I'm still stuck in this whole dog poop thing, like the dog poop in the bag.
Yeah, apparently it's like under the covers and everything. So this was a planned attack. This was like, I'm going to flip the covers up, poop in it, and then put the covers back and act like nothing ever happened. This is a planned attack.
It was. Your dog has become sentient and conscious of everything going around your house. It is the start of the dog poop wars.
Dog poop wars. So what?
And speaking of poop, Tori, I heard all that crap you were talking last night. You and Wayne G. I listened to the show, buddy. I mean,
you should.
Look, is this what you do? You're like a 13-year-old girl, like my stepdaughter, right? You like to have all your friends and hang out, and then when you're with your other friends, you're like, oh yeah, man, that guy.
I still love you, boo.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. All right. I
Okay.
see how you are.
Yeah. Tori, I feel like you need to explain yourself, but.
Well, no, there was a couple shots fired at Brandon. We were making fun of Brandon last night.
Yeah, it was like the whole week and a half off. Like I was off, you and Combs would like attack me the whole time. So I feel like it's like monkey see, monkey do.
It's okay when we do it to you, though.
But it's not okay when we do it to you.
I feel like it's good. It's good for morale.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. All right. So speaking of
that's all right. I got
speaking of good for morale, the Green Bay Packers come out and won Monday Night Football last night over the Detroit Lions, and they outscored the Lions 21-0 in the second half. So Combs, I'm going to kick it to you first here. Was this a good win for the Packers?
It was a win, and any win is a good win. I'm not so sure if they were playing anybody other than the Detroit Lions that they pulled that one out, though. Because of the way that it was done, because of the second half, they looked really slow in the first. I mean, they came out of the first half, they were down 17-14. They came out of the first half against the Detroit Lions, and they were down. And so, for me, in the second half, it was more about that the Lions didn't finish off what they had started. Jared Goff made a lot of mistakes. That defense went away. They didn't complete what they had started. And no, I mean, Aaron Jones just looked phenomenal last night. He looked phenomenal. You couldn't stop him in the run game. You couldn't stop him catching a ball out of the backfield. He looked great. So that was definitely a plus for the Green Bay Packers. It was a win. Any win's a good win, especially inside of your own division. So yes, I'll say it was a good win, but like I said after the Bears game, and I was even down on the Bears after I said, calm down. It was a win, but it was against the Cincinnati Bengals. Same thing here. I mean, this was a win, but it was against the Detroit Lions, and it's just you kind of got to stop, look back. Even if you're a Green Bay Packers fan, enjoy the fact that you won. Enjoy the fact that your team is on the board and they were actually able to put up points this week, but maybe look at it as a whole and maybe don't get too ahead of yourself, because I'm not so sure they're out of the clear yet.
Okay, so Tori, let me bring you on screen here. And a few things that, Combs brought up was the Packers were losing at halftime, 17-14 to the Detroit Lions, which I still think they will finish 10-7 this year. They had a really good outing in the first half. But then in the second half, they did score 21 straight points. With the defense decided to step up. Aaron Rodgers became Aaron freaking Rodgers again. And Aaron Jones had one hell of a game. Like, I feel like they circled him saying, hey, we're going to give you the ball as many times as you want. So how big a win was this for the Packers, Tori?
I agree with Brandon. It's a win. You're on the board. You did what you were supposed to do. You did it to a game that you're supposed to win. You won the game. The only thing I feel like is I called them everything but the Packers in the first half when I got to glance over while we were doing the show. And the second half, it was like watching Tampa Bay. Like, oh, Atlanta's within 3 points of us. I guess we'll play him. We'll show him who's boss. And I feel like that's what the Packers did. They're like, let's flip the switch and show them. Let's show them what we can do now. Like,
and the rain helped a lot. That fumble was definitely caused a big factor was the rain in that fumble, and the rain came out at a perfect time for the Green Bay Packers. It really did.
Yeah, that fumble was definitely a momentum change in the whole game. Tori, go ahead and finish your thought.
I mean, are you sure you don't want to cut me off again?
Positive.
I'll cut you off as much as I want to.
I'm 40 years old. I'll do what I want.
And that's why we cut you off, because you can't keep a complete topic together.
So, no, the Packers just, it's like I said, they flipped the switch and they were kind of like, okay, now let's show them what we can do. And then they just kind of put on the Jets in the second half and pretty much scored at will in the second half.
It's funny that you say that, because they almost put the Jets on in the first half, because they were looking like the Jets in the first half.
No, Aaron didn't start the game 0 for 2 with 2 interceptions.
True.
Because # Zach Wilson is trash.
So Tori, let me ask you this cool question. Watching the first half of the game, it looked like the whole game plan was to give Aaron Jones the ball as much as possible. Why do you think that was the case? Like, do you think Aaron Jones is upset with the play calling? Was there some practice stuff that was happening? Why do you think Aaron Jones seemed to be a focal point of that offense?
Exploiting the defense, exploit where your mismatches are. I think that was a big thing. If they figured they could exploit the linebackers of the Detroit Lions, that's what they did. They said, okay, I think we got this matchup. We'd like it. Aaron, it's going to be your show tonight. And that's what he did, because he scored, 4 touchdowns?
I know Aaron Rodgers threw for 4, and Aaron Jones at least caught 1 and ran for 1. I don't know what the other stats.
Devontae had 1.
Yeah.
I believe he threw for 3.
So, Combs, let me ask you this biggest question here. Aaron Jones had 17 carries, and Aaron Rodgers had 27 pass attempts. So it was almost 50-50 pass run situation there. Is this a winning formula for the Green Bay Packers moving forward?
Yeah. Yes, I think Aaron Jones is a very good running back in the league. I think that the Packers have a lot of weapons. I think they do have to have a good mix. I think they do have to sort of have it 50-50. Where I get concerned is that they are tending to lean a lot more on Aaron Jones, a lot like the Tennessee Titans seem to lean on King Henry. Because when they were down heading into that second half, it was still the Aaron Jones show. And usually that's the Aaron Rodgers show. And they were still giving the ball a lot to Aaron Jones. They were still letting him do his thing. And he was performing. I mean, give him credit. The Lions, they have trouble with the run. Let's just say the Lions have trouble with everything. But they definitely have trouble with the run. And they were trying to establish themselves there. They did that. They dominated them in just about every aspect of the game in the second half. And you know, I do think this could be a winning formula for the Green Bay Packers moving forward. I'm
Corey,
concerned about Aaron Rodgers. Is nobody concerned about Aaron Rodgers and how he's looked over these first 2 games? He does not look. I know that they won the game last night. I know he threw for 3 touchdowns. He does not look
4.
like Aaron Rodgers right now, or 4 touchdowns. He does not look like Aaron Rodgers right now. He just doesn't. He doesn't look like he's confident. He's handing the ball off way more than he normally does. It does not look like the play calling, even in the red zone, the play calling looks different.
Tori, I mean,
But
you are a
isn't that what-
Packer guy.
Isn't that
What
what
about-
coaching's all about? Is being unpredictable. Like it's throwing the
Yeah, but-
other team off balance. But the thing is, he still threw for 4 touchdowns. Like
It's funny that
What-
when
what
we
more-
talk about
what-
the Packers, you're like, isn't that what coaching's all about? Being unpredictable? And then you're like, well, with the Bears, they didn't do this and they didn't do that. But when it's the Packers, oh well, coaching's unpredictable.
but the thing is, I'm talking about
You're
switching
the
it up.
ultimate homer.
when they are going to, whatever, you expect Aaron to throw the ball 50 times, they start running it. Like at that point, that's how you achieve your balance. Though the thing is, it sets up play action, but Aaron was gashing them, and Aaron Jones still had 6 catches for like
know.
48 yards and 3
Yeah.
touchdowns.
And I agree, it's a winning formula. I said it could be the winning formula for them moving forward. I'm just concerned with Aaron Rodgers moving forward that there's a lot of talk that this could be his last year in Green Bay, right? There's a lot of talk that this is the last year, this is the last hurrah. Where's he going next? Maybe he's not going anywhere next. Maybe he's hitting that wall that we expected Tom Brady to hit 25 years ago.
Oh, Tori, that's a
I-
great question. Do you think this is Aaron Rodgers' last year, period, playing ball?
I don't know. I think it depends on, I will say, if they go out and they win the Super Bowl, I'll be like, he's going to retire.
I mean,
If they win the Super Bowl this year, I bet he retires.
let's just be honest. He looks old. He's playing old. And, there were a couple plays where I thought Aaron, I feel like last year's Aaron would have ran the ball and maybe got a first down. This year's Aaron, he threw it away or just made a bad pass.
If you look at Aaron Lowe the last 3 years, he's got one of the highest throwaway percentages in the league, which is why he doesn't turn the ball over a ton.
Right.
It's funny you say he looks old because them Aaron Rodgers looks like memes are absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, they are.
You know, my favorite one, Aaron Rodgers looks like that guy who on his first week of work is bumming smokes. It's my favorite one.
Yeah.
I love that one. That
is
one
a good
kills me.
All right, guys. So are we looking? So let's flash back to the first half here, where the Detroit Lions were up 17-14. When you guys, if we just saw just that first half of the game, were you more impressed with the Detroit Lions or the lack of the Packers just excelling on offense and defense?
I think I was more impressed with the way the Lions came out playing. I wasn't actually impressed by the way they started that game off. I'm like, and this is you guys all laughed at me. I said, this isn't your same old Lions team. This team's got a different feel. They're not going to be
laugh
good.
at you. He picked them 10-7.
That's true too. But everybody else did.
Right.
And so, but I said, this is a team. Look at the way they play. Even though they lost, they still, they'll say, we're all same old Lions.
Imagine if
but
they had a quarterback like Matt Stafford.
Jared Goff is not a bad quarterback.
Jared Goff is garbage. He's the reason why they did not win last. Not the reason they didn't win last night. He's the reason they couldn't keep pace last night.
How long did you play in the NFL? How long did you play in the NFL?
0 days.
So I can call Zach his trash all I want, but he's still way better than me at football.
Hey,
All right, so that doesn't make my point invalid.
do you guys want to know
Speaking of
why?
invalid.
Good.
Buck, what is that crap behind you? What are you?
Cheesehead?
What'd you do? Go hang out at Mike LeBlanc's house?
Yeah.
We're gonna root for one team, but I'm also a Packers fan.
My cheesehead koozie?
Do you got a
Oh my God, Jesus, Buck, you went full tourist.
Yeah, we sure did. I even got a couple jerseys and t-shirts. I'm pretty excited about it, to be honest.
The
with you.
very little respect I had for you just went out the window.
Hey, but I still got my cheese stuff on.
No, it doesn't. No, you
Good
can't.
cheese.
You can't do that. Look, what? Go hang out with Drew.
All right, guys, we are up against the first break here on the Man Hour. Coming up on the break, we're going to talk some Las Vegas Raiders, not Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. We're going to talk some trouble in paradise over there at New York Giants land at MetLife Stadium. And we are going to talk about Drew's Arizona Cardinals. All that and much more coming up, guys, right here on the Man Hour. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhatcher with Brandon Combs and Tori Anderson tonight. If you're going to miss any part of the show whatsoever, head over to manhourradio.com and check out the podcast page there. You can watch us or listen to us on podcast form, I should say. Or you can also find us on Belly Up Sports, 313 The Flash, and, of course, Big X Sports Radio right here in Jeffersonville, Indiana, 96.1 at 4 to 6 p.m. East Coast time. So let's go ahead and welcome the guys back onto the screen here, guys. We have had some Monday Night Football talk, but now it is time to kind of somber the moment here, like a little bit. So, Combs, we have a big fan over here in the chat, and Drew, and, Drew has a lot of friends, and one of his friends is lost his life here earlier today. So if you want to go ahead and talk about that, Combs, I'll be take over.
Yeah, absolutely. So Drew hit me up a couple weeks ago about a little boy who's battling a degenerative bone disease, and I had asked him. I said, "Hey, would you mind having the mom and dad come on for an interview, and we'll try to raise some money for awareness." And he said, "Yeah, no problem." And then he messaged me back. He's like, "Hey, they can't make it. Her father caught, which I don't even know if I can say this word anymore on anything. So he caught that thing that everybody's battling, and the reason why we have to wear a mask. And he's in the hospital, so she can't come on." I said, "No problem. We'll figure this thing out and we'll get it going." Well, then he hit me up today or yesterday actually, and said that they had decided because of how sick he was and how far gone he was that they were going to pull the plug. So there is a GoFundMe account for it. It is the Lynn Williams Final Expenses. So if you're on GoFundMe and you feel like donating some money, I know all of our people out there in Man Hour Nation land, on the comments, in the chat. I know you guys, you guys are like family. You talk every night. We argue, we talk sports, we joke around. But I always feel like when somebody is in need and when somebody is going through something like this, I like to help in any way that I can. So even if you can't donate, there is a share button on the link. So if you can just share it, and maybe people who can donate would be great. On that link, it says, as many of you people may already know, Lynn Williams, our beloved husband, father, and Poppy, has been fighting the 19 for some time now. Friday, September 17th, he went into cardiac arrest and his heart stopped for 6 minutes. While we were fortunate and they were able to bring him back to us, his medical care team has come to us and let us know he is at the point of suffering. His body is simply worn out, and sadly, he will not be getting any better. We have sat and talked it through, and together with Lindsay, we have decided that on Tuesday, we will be setting him free of his earthly pain. Lynn has been out of work due to illness and does not have life insurance. We are asking for any donations to help us with his final expenses. I got the message right before the show that he had passed. And so, our condolences go out to the Williams family and to all of his friends and stuff who are going to be going through the grieving process and all the stuff that they're going to be dealing with over the next couple of weeks, and for the family a lot longer than that, dealing with his loss. So if you can, feel free to go ahead and donate now, or whenever you get a chance. And if you can't donate, like I said, just click the share button that's on the link. I believe we have the link is shared in the page itself, so feel free to just click on it, go take a look at it, donate or share if you can, and our sincerest condolences to the Williams family.
And just like Combs said, the link is in the bio here at youtube.com/manhour. So definitely click on that link and at least share that on your guys' Twitter and Facebook and wherever else you are active on the old social media. So we have to kind of keep in the somber mood here, but in a sports way here, the co-founder of the Raiders Black Hole Fan has died. So Tori, I'm going to kick it to you first here because you are a Packers fan and you know all about loyal fans and the best fan bases in America. But was the Black Hole the most iconic, and do the Raiders have the best fan base out there?
Fan base wise, I say they are the most iconic. Absolutely. The out there-ness, the outfits, everything that would go on in the Black Hole, they would, if the weirder it got, the more comfortable they were. And that is the way it will always be with the Black Hole crowd. And the thing is it's like anything else. Like, you go to the game, you want to watch the game, but you're still watching the Black Hole. What's the Black Hole doing right now? Right. For me, it's like going to a Badger game and watching the student section. Like that, half the reason to go to a Badger game is to watch the student section. Half the reason to go to a Raider game it'd be watching what's going on in the Black Hole. I would say absolutely they are the most iconic. As far as most diehard, I'm not even going to say my own Green Bay Packers fans are, because there's one NFL team that has beat the Green Bay Packers in consecutive sellouts, and that's the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, so I did not know that about the Denver Broncos, so that's a fun fact there. So, Combs, I mean, you are a Chicago Bears guy, you are a Cubs guy, and I actually listened to a very interesting podcast on the way home. I believe it was called the night the light struck in Chicago or something like that. But whatever. That's besides the point. Are the Raiders the most loyal fan base out there?
Man, like Tori said, I think they're the most fun to watch. I mean, you can catch YouTube videos of them all day long. They're fun to watch. They're crazy. They are passionate about their Raiders. I think that goes through with a lot of NFL teams, though. Like there's a lot of NFL teams that have some very devoted fans, like the dog pound in Cleveland. Yep. I mean, they've been through some really bad years, man, and they still come every single game. The Detroit Lions. I saw a thing earlier on Facebook. I saw this thing where it went to most wins in the last 30 playoff wins in the last 30 years. Detroit Lions 0. And like it had a list of everyone, which by the way, the Patriots have 30 playoff wins in the last 30 years or 20 years maybe. And the next closest team to them is the Baltimore Ravens with 16.
Wow.
That's insane. But no, I think a lot of passionate fan bases are out there. It's really hard to tell the rest. I mean, I'm not surprised that the Denver Broncos have the most sellouts. I mean, what else is there to do in Denver, Colorado? But I mean,
Smoke dope.
you know, that's what
Ski.
you do. Yeah, I mean, you could, yeah, sure. You
Look
go
for dog to
skiing, but I
bounty
mean,
hunter.
that's fun till you get to the bottom of the mountain in 3 seconds and have to go all the way back up and do it again. I mean, so yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that the Broncos sell out a lot. They do have a passionate fan base. So I kid, I joke around because I know sometimes my coworker Liz is listening to the show and she's a big Denver Broncos fan, so I always got to give her grief. But they've got a passionate fan base. The Chiefs have a very passionate fan base. I mean, the Chiefs stadium is sold out. The Seattle Seahawks. I mean, it's hard for me to pick in the NFL. It's hard for me to pick a best fans. I haven't been to a ton of NFL games. You know, I could tell you best fans and I could rank them, 1 through 30 in MLB. I can't do that in NFL. I think that the Raiders, though, I mean, they're crazy passionate about that. Black hole is insane.
Yeah, I can tell you some fans that are not loyal at all. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Miami Dolphins, Arizona Cardinal fans, Dallas Cowboys fans. Let's be honest, they're only big Dallas Cowboys fans.
Cardinal fans are always filling that place.
You can always say
Cardinal
they're filling
fans
that
are
place.
pretty
When
good.
Green Bay plays there, we always joke that it's
Yeah.
Lambeau Field Southwest.
Yeah,
Well, that's like the Cubs in Milwaukee. I mean, it's a destination spot, especially in the wintertime. Who the hell wants to be in Green Bay in the winter? No, you go down to Arizona.
Like who the hell
where
wants to
it's
be in
nice.
Chicago when you come to Milwaukee?
Who wants to be in Chicago? Period.
So as far as the most loyal fan base, it has to be the Raiders. They moved like 8 times in 10 years. So, I mean, they went from Oakland to LA, back to Oakland to San Francisco to Northern Colorado. They've been everywhere. Hell, there was rumors that they were going to go to Mexico too. But yet, those fans are always there. Now, I don't know if there's a black hole in Vegas. I didn't get a chance to really look at the fan section on that Monday night game. So, guys, correct me if
a
I'm
black
wrong.
hole.
Yeah, so I mean, those guys are it's like a 4-hour drive from Oakland to Vegas. So those guys are traveling to Vegas. That has to be loyal there. I mean, like let's say those passionate fans in Chicago, and you move to let's say Champaign, Illinois. Are they traveling 2 hours to Champaign, Combs?
Bears fans, yeah,
They're
about to have to. The Bears just put in a bid on a stadium out here, and it's about probably about a good 45 minutes to an hour and a half away, depending on traffic.
But it's still considered a suburb of Chicago, isn't it?
Well, that's because everything around here is a suburb of Chicago. Chicago is huge.
Illinois, the
Chicago's
state
got
of
3 million
Illinois is
people
a
in the
suburb.
city.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy.
So as far as the most loyal fans, I got to give it to the Raiders 100% because just like I said, they moved at least 4 times, right, in 20 years or something like that. It hasn't been more than I don't know. But yeah, I mean, to me, I think the Raiders are the most loyal. So speaking of loyal here, the Giants head coach has been loyal to Mr. Kenny Galladay himself. So if you guys missed it, Kenny Galladay had a huge outburst on the sidelines that was aimed at Jason Garrett, not the quarterback Daniel Jones, like many people speculated that was happening there. However, the head coach of the Giants says that there is no issue with this whatsoever. So, Combs, do we see a problem with this outburst on the sidelines by Kenny Galladay?
Sorry, I got caught off guard. They had a UFC fighter. Why is his name going to escape me now? The Irishman. What the?
Conor McGregor?
Conor McGregor. Thank you. Oh, my God. That Conor McGregor throwing out the first pitch at Wrigley, the thing ended up like 3 rows into the stands behind the dugout. It was maybe the word. You remember 50 Cent's throw? That was a strike compared to this one. that was a strike. Anyway, no, look, Kenny Galladay. Do I have a problem with him blowing up? No, I don't. I don't have a problem. Look, it's a passionate game. That's why I don't like the whatever it is, the penalty that they're giving up for guys who are, taunting and doing all that. I don't like that call. But I'm okay with guys being passionate. What I'm not okay with is a guy blowing up at his coach, going off on his coach, admitting that he's going off on his coach, and then the head coach, who's supposed to be on the coaching staff with you, is like, yeah, I'm cool with that. Why? What do you mean you're cool with that? You're cool with him so what you're essentially telling the team is, hey, you guys want to take out your frustrations on Garrett? Go for it. Got no problem with it.
Tori, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, like, it kind of seems like maybe the head coach doesn't have respect for Jason Garrett, maybe? Or, like, what are your thoughts?
He is the judge. Get it? Because his name's Joe Judge.
Yeah. Judge, jury, executioner, or whatever, right?
God,
right.
Dude, you're not even a dad and you have bad dad jokes.
I mean,
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was good too, and the fact that Jason Garrett's just a ginger. So I mean, it's okay. You can. It's not really yelling at anybody if you're yelling at a ginger. Gingers aren't people. You don't have souls.
So basically, Tori has no thoughts on that. Is what we're coming down to.
No, I just don't like. I hate Jason Garrett. Like, I don't like Jason Garrett at all. And so I'm like, I'm okay with Jason Garrett getting blown up at on the sidelines. However, I'm playing, but I agree. I agree with that. You can't allow that. You start to lose your locker room at that point when they feel that it's okay to, start going after coaches. If the head coach doesn't step in, you are going to lose that locker room really quick. And Galladay's got to remember, you're the new guy there. You signed it. You chose to sign there. It's not like you were traded there. You said, ooh, drop the Brinks truck off at the bank because I'm making bank now. And you chose to sign there. You knew what you were getting into, if I would hope, before you went there and go, is this a good decision for my career or not? Like, so I am not okay with him blowing up at the coach, any coach on the sidelines.
So I'm kind of torn about this one way or the other. Just because one, like, anytime you see a player blow up, it is usually because their passion is coming out for the sport, or, and they're caring about what they're doing and what they're saying and like all of that stuff. However, I don't see Jason Garrett as a very a confrontational person whatsoever. So I'm sure Jason Garrett just took it. It's like, oh yeah, you're doing good, right? And he's clapping away. But on the flip side of that, the fact that Joe Judge did not. Now, we don't know what happened in the locker room. There could have been a big fine happen, right? Like, Kenny Galladay could have been fined $20,000 for the verbal abuse on a coach or something to that effect. So we don't know what happened in the locker room after the game or behind closed doors, film, study, etc., right? So now for you guys to kind of throw Joe Judge under the bus there, like about not having Jason Garrett's back, I kind of have to take a step back, and I almost guarantee you Joe Judge had Jason Garrett's back, just because, usually you handle that kind of stuff not out in the public's eye. You handle it behind closed doors. And so I think it was handled behind closed doors on that aspect.
You can't handle that in the public and say there's no issue here. That I have no issue. If there's a problem there, and everybody saw the outburst, so it's not like you're trying to hide something that didn't. It's not like somebody heard something going on in the locker room and they were trying to figure out what happened. We all know what happened. We all saw what he did. So to say no, I have no problem with that. I don't care if you're trying to hide that behind closed. That he did not do anything to Kenny Galladay.
Maybe he meant there was no issue by it because it's already been handled behind closed doors, so there's no reason to be continuing to talk about it. Maybe that's what he meant.
I just think there's no respect for Jason Garrett, and I think that's a problem for Jason Garrett moving forward.
Tori, do you think
I really do?
No respect for Jason?
I don't have any respect for him.
Well.
How many? Hey, Tori, how many days have you coached in the NFL?
7.
That's
I've
still
coached,
way less than Jason Garrett.
I've actually coached way more than that, man. Like, my Madden franchises were unstoppable.
Said in the NFL, not on the PlayStation.
Jesus. Hey,
That's the NFL, isn't it?
speaking of
I will
NFL,
destroy you at Madden.
speaking of NFL
I haven't played in
coaches,
20 years.
apparently Cindy's cousin knows the offensive coach at Green Bay. We might get him on the show. So just
Who? Which one?
Ooh.
I'll have to get the name from you. I don't know the name.
How the
Oh.
hell can her cousin do it? But we got a part owner on staff, and he can't even get us any interview. Like, what kind of freaking owner are you?
Guess he's just
I
small
respect.
and
I
he's
respect. I respect my players and coaches' privacy.
Okay. So speaking of respecting
sure that's
players
how it
and players and coaches here, Kyler Murray has come out and said he is very frustrated with the team's ugly penalties they have taken the first 2 weeks of the season. However, they're still 2-0 to start the season, and they look fairly decent. So, Mr. Torrey Anderson, is this a good thing or bad thing that Kyler Murray is frustrated with the stupid penalty that's going on in Arizona?
What stupid penalties? Like, that's what I don't get.
There's a lot
So-
of they got called. I believe they had 15 or 16 penalties in week 2.
Yeah, against
And I
against the
think
Vikings.
6
But
or
the
7 of
refs
them were offsides.
Yeah, the refs were pretty flake happy that entire game both ways though. Like
Yeah.
I get it. I get it if it's one way. Like, yeah, okay. But that game, there was flags all over the place in that game. And there was a ton of offside penalties in that game. Like, it seemed like every third down, like, oh, it's 3rd and 4, and offsides. It just felt like that the whole game. And I don't know. For me, it's just cleaning up the minor little mental mistakes that you made then. It's not like, major penalties or stupid penalties. It's just stuff that you're cleaning up at that point. You're still 2-0. You're probably one of the best teams in the NFL. To quote Brian Gutekunst to Aaron Rodgers, just shut up and do your job.
Oh, so Combs, Torrey is telling Kyler Murray to shut up and pass the ball. What it comes down to, but are you okay with Kyler Murray being frustrated about these bad calls?
I mean, I love how when I had a take, Torrey's answer was how many games have you played in the NFL? And now it's that guy, I have no respect for him. Oh, that guy, shut up and do his job.
Hey,
This
you
guy.
dropped something. It's your testicles. Pick them up.
I was gonna make a joke, but that would have been rude. You had cancer, and that's not nice.
Come on.
Anyway,
how many
so-
times a day do I say to you guys, you guys make me really glad I had cancer?
Anyway, I just look. I don't know. Like I think that his frustration is legit. It's the same frustration that I've spoken about. Like I said with the Bears, and same thing that worries me about the Packers. You can win. You could be fine and dandy. Well, look at the Steelers last year, 12-0. They were winning, but we all saw it. We're like, yeah, great, you're winning, but you're not playing very well, and you're beating a bunch of crappy teams. Okay, and I'm not saying that's what happened in here with the Arizona Cardinals, but you can be 2-0 and still be making a lot of dumb mistakes and just kind of getting by. And that's what they did against Minnesota. If Minnesota makes that kick at the end of the game, they're 1-1. And so I think his frustration is legit. They are still 2-0. They are still a very talented team in a very talented division. They do need to clean up those mistakes, because those mistakes against teams like the Los Angeles Rams, like against the Seattle Seahawks, against the San Francisco 49ers, those are the types of mistakes, those are the types of dumb plays that are going to cost you a division in the long run, because one game is going to decide this division. And that could be one game between 3 teams, but that's what's going to decide this division. And you don't want to be that guy who's like, you know what? It was 4th and 1 from the 35, and we were going to go for it, and I jumped off sides, took us out of field goal range. We lost the game, and now we lost the division.
Yeah.
Those dumb penalties can absolutely cost you. I'm fine with him being frustrated with that. I actually like the fact that he's coming out and being a leader and saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, great. We're 2-0, but that doesn't mean anything right now. We've got a lot of stuff to clean up. We always say, no matter how good you are, you've got room to improve, right?
Yeah, which is 100% correct. So, Combs, let me ask you this cool question here. Torrey said he just needs to shut up and play, but then you said you are happy about Kyler, making this known, like, hey, I'm not happy about this play. Is Kyler Murray the person to address this penalty issue, though, or is that fall on the coaching staff?
No, it can come from players too. I mean, that's why you have player only meetings. Kyler Murray's coming off the best game of his career statistically. I mean, so he's playing really well.
Right.
So if he's still out there and he's still geared up and he's still watching, instead of sitting on the bench while he's off the field, he's up there, he's watching the defense, he's watching how they're performing, he's engaged in the game, and he's telling them, hey, look, we still got things we can clean up. That's leadership to me. It's absolutely leadership to me. And the coaching staff, yes, it's their job to coach these guys up, to help them clear these mistakes. But I would absolutely love to have a guy like that on me instead of a guy that sits there and tells me to RELAX.
Torrey, is this a coaching issue with the whole penalty thing?
I mean, it's cleaning up the coaching issues. Getting the coaches to tell them guys to line up in the right spot. Is it completely on the coaches? No, but it's the coach's job to fix those issues, not Kyler Murray's.
All righty. So you guys heard it here first. It is the coaching issue and not a Kyler Murray issue. I should say. Speaking of issues,
why is it what Torrey said? Why is that what you guys heard? He had one freaking sentence, gave you no freaking ammo behind it. I came out here with a whole freaking 2-minute rant about why it's a good thing. He says, well, and you're like, yeah, you heard it here first. Torrey's
short, concise, and to the point.
You go to one Packers game, and now all of a sudden you two are like brothers.
Hey, go Pack, go.
I mean, I did see him and Cindy coming.
Choke on that drink.
I did see him and Cindy coming from 2 blocks away because I saw all the cars passing them. I'm like, that's got to be them coming.
Yeah,
that has to be. And then I saw the car go by and I saw the Indiana plates. I'm like, yep.
That is that.
I'm like, tourists driving slow.
So speaking of tourists and driving slow, the Indianapolis Colts have now lost their starting quarterback for, quote, several weeks. Carson Wentz sprained 2 ankles on one play on Sunday. So, Torrey, can we legitimately question the quarterback depth in Indianapolis right now?
I mean, we could have questioned that before the season. Although it's going to be Jacob Eason's time to shine. This time next year, we're going to be like, man, I can't believe we thought Jacob Eason was. I'm just kidding. I don't know. They are pretty much without a paddle right now. If you ask me, they have a great offensive line. They have a good defense. I don't know what Jacob Eason can do. Granted, they've had a brutal start to the season. I had them starting the season 0-2 the way it was. I think they may bounce back. They'll have the week to adjust to Jacob Eason's game. It's not like they don't know what they don't have in him because he was there last year. So they'll adjust the game plan. We'll see what happens on Sunday to if Jacob Eason's got the speed of the game down to keep them afloat until Carson Wentz can come back for another half and then get hurt.
Well, on the bright side, Jacob Eason has had a year to sit and learn the NFL game and learn from a veteran, as in Phillip Rivers, much what like Justin Fields should do, Combs. But should the Colts be questioning their quarterback depth? Should they go out and get a Nick Foles or somebody to that effect?
Deshaun.
Does it matter what I say? Because we already heard what Torrey had to say. So isn't that what matters here on the show?
It does matter. What are your thoughts?
So I think that it's time for them to go and make a trade that they probably should have made a long time ago. Whether that, I don't know if Houston's willing to let Deshaun Watson go. I really don't. The fact that what they're doing with starting Davis Smith, I just don't know that they're willing to let him go. The trade that I'm talking about is right down the road in Chicago, and that's to go get Nick Foles. And right now, to be honest with you, they could probably make a play at Andy Dalton if they wanted to, because I don't think he's getting back in the saddle for the Chicago Bears. So I think they're going to make a trade. I think it's going to be with Chicago, and it's going to be for either Dalton or Foles, most likely Foles. And they'll get a guy who already knows the system, who's already played with the coaching staff, and who won a Super Bowl with them. So, and who's a pretty decent backup, and has shown that when he's, got a chip on his shoulder as a backup, he can perform well. It's just when he becomes a starter that he doesn't perform well. And with Carson Wentz, you could let Carson Wentz start all day long. By the third quarter, he's going to get hurt. So then you could just have Nick Foles come in and play mop-up duty.
Yeah, 100% agree with that, 100%. So, Tori, let me ask you this question. If you are an Indianapolis coach, GM, owner, president, head coach, how soon do you pull the trigger on getting a quarterback like Nick Foles? Does it have to be now, or can you wait?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. You're going to give Jacob Eason basically a 2-week tryout. See what you have, and then it's going to be time to maybe hit the panic button, because the trade deadline's it's like the third week of October or whatever in the NFL. But there again, like we've talked about before, it's hard to get a quarterback and install them into your system unless it is a quarterback and I will agree with Brandon, like Nick Foles, that has played that system, knows that system. It's just a change in verbiage for him, and that's about it. Where you can get him ready to roll within a week on the basic playbook, and in about 2-3 weeks he'll have it down, and you're running your full offense again.
So
Trade deadline is November 2nd this year, by the way.
No,
so is the only trade out there possible, or the only pickup for the Indianapolis Colts possible? Is it Nick Foles? Is that the only thing that they'll consider, that you guys think?
Who else?
I think it's the most obvious. I mean, there's Deshaun Watson, but I think
still
the most
asking too
obvious
much,
trade
though.
is Nick
There's
Foles. You
Cam
don't have to
Newton.
give up a ton, and you got a guy who already knows the system.
Yeah,
It makes the most sense.
you're gonna go for somebody that can fit seamlessly into your system.
Yep.
I mean,
So
why wouldn't you?
So Combs, Nick Foles obviously makes sense there. So let's say Nick Foles does go to Indianapolis and Carson Wentz eventually comes back, let's say week 8 or so. Do we have some type of quarterback controversy brewing in Indianapolis, just like we saw, just like the Eagles, and then we see the Colts franchise, just like the Eagles franchise, don't know which direction they're going?
No, because I think that with Nick Foles, unless he's playing out of his mind, and all of a sudden they find themselves week 8 6-2 after acquiring Nick Foles, which means that they're 6-0 at that point. I think you bring Carson Wentz back. He's your starter. That's what you paid for him. And if he gets hurt again, you've got your insurance policy in Nick Foles. And I think that at this stage of his career, Nick Foles knows where his place is. And that's where his place is on any team right now. So,
Tori, do you not have any faith in Sam Ehlinger?
I do not have any faith in Sam Ehlinger. I would have more faith if they brought Vince Young in.
That'd be a good pickup, though. I like Vince Young. All right, guys, we are up against the next break here on the Man Hour. Right after the break, guys, we got the infamous game of Guess Who. But before we get too carried away,
undefeated,
you need to go to skullcandy.com and use promo code ManHourRadio, and they'll match up to 50% on your purchase over there on select items at skullcandy.com. Earphones, and they'll change the way you listen to music forever. We'll be right back, guys, here on the Man Hour.
undefeated.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse with Brandon Combs and Tori Anderson tonight. Like I said, this part of Man Hour is brought to you by SkullCandy.com. Discover life at full volume with headphones, earbuds, and speakers, and more. Skull Candy is your one-stop shop for new music, culture, and audio built in. Hashtag stay loud. That's SkullCandy.com and use promo code ManHourRadio and you get up to 50% off on select purchases over at SkullCandy.com. So let's go ahead and welcome the boys back onto the show. You can find Combs at ManHour_Combs, Tori at ManHour_Tori. You can find me at ManHour_Buck as well, all on the old Twitter machine. But guys, it is that special time of night where we play the infamous game of Guess Who. So I am thinking of 3 players, and you guys, it is the best 2 out of 3, and Combs has not lost to Guess Who this year versus Tori. So with that being said, Combs, you will get the inaugural question of the night.
Is it a quarterback?
It is not a quarterback, good sir.
Is it Aaron Jones?
No.
Do they play in the NFL?
No.
Ooh.
Is it a cheesehead?
No.
Do they play in the NBA?
No.
Do they play in the National League West?
No.
Do they play in the American League?
Yes.
Strategy
of brewing there, I see.
Do they play for the Yankees?
No.
Do they play for the Red Sox?
No.
Is it Vlad Jr.?
It is Vladimir Jr. Jeez, Tori. Tori with the answer, Vlad Jr. tonight. So, Tori, Vlad Jr. has 46 home runs, and Salvi has 45 home runs, and Ohtani, at last checked, had 44 home runs. Who wins the home run race this year?
What do we got? About 15 games to play? Ooh. At this point, flip a coin. Who gets hot now? But Vlad's had the hottest bat as of late, so I'm going to go with Vlad.
All right, so Combs, Tori's going with Vlad. Who are you going with the home run crown?
I'm going with Vlad too. He's playing more important games right now. He's going to be more in tune to it. And so they're not going to take any time off heading now between now and then because they're going to be fighting all the way to the final day of for the wild card. So I'm going to go with Vlad Jr. as well.
So let me ask you this. So as a baseball standpoint, with these young stars, I mean, obviously Salvi's been in the league for 10 years. I think it is maybe like 11. Shouldn't we be marking this home run race a little bit more than what they are?
I don't even want to talk about it. I mean, baseball is just they're horrible. I don't know what I got to do, Major League Baseball, to get a job to help you guys bring this game that I love so damn much back to where it belongs. But you guys are awful. You guys, I'm talking like bad. I don't know about WWE writer bad because the WWE writers are costing WWE everything.
Yeah, they're going down quick.
You guys are so bad at marketing your game. It's unbelievable.
Tori, should they be marking this?
The Tampa Bay Rays right now and the Toronto Blue Jays going on in Tampa Bay. Toronto's fighting for a playoff spot. Tampa Bay's leading the division. Their magic number, I believe, is down to like 4 or 5, and they've got like 1/3 of the crowd is there tonight.
Tampa Bay's always a horrible draw until the playoffs,
and
then
they give away their tickets for free.
Right. For whatever reason, they cannot draw fans at all there.
I think it's Florida in general. Florida in general can't draw fans just because I heard stories of like the Heat fans would show up like 2 minutes into the game and they had Bosch and Wade and like James there. I mean,
it's the same thing with Dodgers fans in LA. They show up in the 3rd inning and they're gone by the 7th.
Yeah.
Look at your markets. You're talking about a market of LA and a market of Miami. There is so much other stuff to do in those two cities and Jim Rome said it once, and he said it best, I think. There is so much other stuff to do in those cities that they don't care unless you are winning. If you are winning, they will be there for the playoffs. But until then, they could care less. There's other stuff to do around there.
You know what? I got a perfect idea for Shop Talk coming up. But, Tori, you do get the first point of Guess Who Tonight, so you get the next one.
Do they play basketball?
They do not.
Is it Ben Roethlisberger?
Nope. I don't allow child predators on my station.
Ooh. Wow.
We just eliminated like half the NFL probably.
Right. At least 3/4.
Is it Aaron Jones?
No.
Do they play football?
Yes.
Is it Rob Gronkowski?
No.
Do they play in the AFC?
Yes.
Is it Zach Wilson is trash?
No.
Is it Jarvis Landry?
It is not.
Do they play for the Chiefs?
No.
Is it Tyrod Taylor?
It is not.
Yeah, I say Buck likes to throw injured players in there.
I know. I picked two of them.
Is it Derek Carr?
No.
Is it Davis Mills?
It is not.
Is it Deshaun Watson? Because he hasn't played yet this year.
It is not.
Is it Chubb?
Nope. But I got one. Oh, my bad.
Is it Mac Jones?
No.
We already determined that they play in the AFC, correct? We just didn't determine where.
Yes.
Is it Lamar Jackson?
It is not. Trash.
Is it Tua?
It is Tua. Good job, Tori. 2-0 tonight, the first win ever. So I'm bringing up Tua because he was one of the big injuries of week 2, along with Carson Wentz and half
Trying
of
to
the
go
other
through the
quarterbacks
IR.
in the NFL. So guys, let me ask you this: are the Miami Dolphins a playoff team if Tua is not the quarterback in Miami? Tori, I'm going to kick it to you first since you got the question correct.
I'm going to Wyatt this potentially. No, I don't think they are. I don't think they are a playoff team with Jacoby in there. Jacoby came in against a Buffalo Bills defense that was quite honestly pissed off from the week before that they lost to the Steelers. So I kind of figured that game was going to be a bloodbath and be ugly, and that defense had something to prove. I think Jacoby can still lead them to maybe 8 or 9 wins, but they're not a playoff team.
BC, are they a playoff team with Tua or without Tua? I should say.
If they make a trade,
4,
not as presently constituted. They're
4.
not. Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
He makes the most sense to Miami. And if he goes there too and never plays another game in Miami, that's the other thing. That's the other caveat to that. You're not sitting Tua behind Watson. Tua's going to be part of that deal.
Yeah.
He's going to have to suffer in Houston. So, yeah, I mean, that's the only way they can be competitive. They're not going to be competitive, as presently constituted. Who's their backup? It's
Jacoby Brissett, and they
Jacoby
got
Brissett, yeah.
Reed Stinnett,
yeah.
Stinnett, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
no.
who has the best upside right now? The Colts with Jacob Eason, the Dolphins with Jacoby Brissett, or the Texans with Davis Mills?
I like the Colts with Jacob Eason because I think Jacob Easton is the future in Indy, and I honestly like him as a quarterback.
Wow. I would probably go Jacob Eason too, because out of all of those, they're probably the most fit to protect their quarterback. And by protect them, I mean they've got weapons and they've got a solid run game and a very good offensive line, which they do not have. They definitely don't have it in Houston. Miami's okay, but they're not, if Miami was that good, Tua wouldn't have those ribs.
Do you guys think that the Colts are the most plug and play team at the quarterback spot where like you can literally plug any quarterback that's, you know, top 40 quarterback in the league and they'll be successful there?
No,
No.
I think you have to have a viable quarterback. I didn't think they had a viable quarterback in Carson Wentz. I thought that they had a guy that they could make work for a short amount of time. He always gets hurt.
6 quarters.
Yeah. So and hell, he was hurt before the preseason. Like it was. So I think that they do need somebody. They need I really like, to me, if they don't come and get Nick Foles, I think Andy Dalton is probably the obvious answer there. I think Andy Dalton can make the Colts a successful team. I think they could at least win that division because that's a very weak division.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing that. So we do have one more guess who, even though Tori won. So Combs, you get the first question.
Is it Tori's mom?
It is not, but she is so hot. Damn.
Yeah, she is.
She's got it going on.
Yeah.
Tori's mom.
I'm so disappointed I lost.
That's okay. It's just like the rest of your life now.
Wow.
I am ruthless tonight. I am literally ruthless.
I think you need to go to bed, Tori.
I don't think you realize how real that statement was.
Yeah. All right, Combs, what's your question?
All right. Do they play in the NFL?
No.
Do they play in the NBA?
No.
So they're a baseball player.
Or hockey?
Yeah, right. Do they play in the NHL?
No.
Okay.
Is it Max Scherzer?
No.
Do they play in the National League?
Yes.
All right. Who's all hurt in the National? Is it Ronald Acuna Jr.?
No. I can't say that name. You guys know that.
What was the hockey name you were trying to say?
Are they a pitcher?
No.
Not a pitcher. Are they an infielder?
Yes.
Is it Fernando Tatis Jr.?
No.
Is it Manny Machado?
No.
Trying to think of headlines. That's the only thing Buck knows about baseball.
I was going to say, because Tatis and Machado were just on it.
I'm actually surprised he knew the difference between infielder and outfielder, to be honest with you. Is it watch this. Is it Mookie Betts?
No.
You're trying to trip.
You saw what I did there.
Trying to trip him up. Because I'm going to go with the name that he knows how to pronounce. Is it Freddie Freeman?
No.
Do they play in the National League Central?
No.
So, do they play in the National League West?
Yes. Are you shocked by that, Tori?
I'm shocked that you know more than 3 people in the NL West.
I know 17.
That's what I'm saying. Trying to think of players, infielders too, huh? Is it Buster Posey?
It is Buster Posey.
I was thinking it was going to be Buster Posey or Max Muncy.
So the reason why I bring up Buster Posey is because the San Francisco 49ers, the San Francisco Giants are leading Major League Baseball with 97 wins this year, and they are first in the NL. We are going to talk more Major League Baseball coming up here in the show, but are the Giants going to be the first team to 100 wins this year, Combs?
Yeah, and they're going to be the number 1 seed in the NL. There's no reason to think that these guys are slowing down anytime soon. And not only that, but they having that number 1 seed is huge for them, because that gives you a home field advantage. That gives you to play against the wildcard team, which is probably going to be another NL West team, and that gives you the home field advantage against them.
I was gonna say, is that really a blessing against the team that's probably going to win the wild card game?
If not, then you have to go probably up against the Milwaukee Brewers. And I'm telling you right now, look, I think that the Milwaukee Brewers are good to go against whoever they play in the NL East. I think the Milwaukee Brewers are not good to go against anybody they play in the NL West.
Have you seen their record against the NL West this year?
I have seen the record against the NL West. They're like 24-9 or something like that.
Yeah,
they are
crazy.
It's a ridiculous number against the NL West.
And 500 against the NL East.
However, out of those games, they have played more home games against the NL West than they've played road games. And that's why I think having the number 1 seed is such a huge thing, because then they've got to come to you. And we've seen it before, man. West Coast teams coming out of the West Coast, that time difference is something different. They're used to playing at 7 o'clock on the West Coast. They come to play at 7 o'clock Central Time. It's actually 5 o'clock on the West Coast. They go to play on the East Coast. It's actually 4 o'clock on the East Coast, and it's 7 o'clock there. So it is tougher for West teams to come into another time zone. I don't think that the Milwaukee Brewers offense is good enough to keep up with either the Giants offense or the Dodgers offense. I really don't. I think that both of those, that's where those teams get it, because I know pitching plays in October, but those teams also have the pitching. And at some point you have to score at least 1 run to win the ball game. And I would trust either one of those offenses to score the 1 run before I trusted the Milwaukee Brewers offense to score the 1 run. It's going to be fun to watch either way. I'm going to be watching, but I think for the San Francisco Giants, it's absolutely imperative that they get the number 1 seed.
Tori, what are your thoughts on that? Because your Brewers are sitting at 93 wins. I mean, they could get hot. Will they be the first team to 100?
The Giants. Well, they're at 96 right now.
Yeah,
they need 4 wins, or 97. Excuse me. Yeah,
well, Brewers only need 6 wins.
Yeah, but I pegged them at 97 for the year, so that's what they're going to win is 97.
I know, that's great, man. You were spot on with that, man.
Yeah,
you were spot on. I laughed at you. I didn't think there was any way. I didn't think any team in the NL Central was capable of winning 90 games.
Yeah,
period.
You and Hoffman,
and I was right for the most part, with the exception of the Brewers. They're the only team that's going to win 90 games in that division.
Yeah,
but I was, look, man, kudos to you on that pick preseason.
Well, I called it. I said pitching, and they're going to struggle with the bats. Like from the get-go, I called it.
Hey, speaking of picks, we've got a Wheel of Death to spin.
Yeah.
And Buck lost the week.
Yeah. We'll do it during shot
I like how we've kind of just like skipped over that. You know what I mean?
We'll do it
like,
during
it's funny that he's trying to just not even bring it up. Because I guarantee you, if either you or I had lost, we would have promoted the Wheel of Death all night long. It would have led the show. And we probably would have had to spin it like 2 or 3 times.
That's not true.
Is it bad? Like I look forward to it. I'm like, bring this.
Man, like I need some more syrup in my life. All right, guys, we are up against the next break.
About to get it.
On the other side of the break, guys, we are going to be talking some more Major League Baseball, and of course some playoffs that are heating up. We are going to talk about that quarterback controversy in Houston as well, and some NBA and NHL as well. Of course, unvaccinated players, are they allowed to play or not? On all that, much more coming up, guys, on the Man Hour. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckhouse on Brandon Combs and Tori Anderson tonight. We've had a great show tonight. If you guys missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can go to youtube.com/Man Hour and hit that subscribe button. We upload the clips each and every day over there at youtube.com/Man Hour at 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. every Sunday through Sunday, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We're getting 5 to 6 clips uploaded every day over there. So let's welcome everybody back on to the screen here. And guys, Tori with the big old yawn there. It is getting late up there in old Wisconsin. It is 8 o'clock, so Tori's way past his bedtime. So we gotta.
Where's
my Metamucil?
He missed his pudding.
Where's my Centrum Silver?
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and jump into some sports headlines here. One of the biggest headlines from NFL Week 2 was the injury bug that bit a lot of players, a lot of quarterbacks per se. And one of those quarterbacks was Tyrod Taylor. So Tyrod Taylor is out for the Houston Texans, and now Davis Mills is the guy, and of course Deshaun Watson is still not active. So Mr. Tori Anderson, do the Texans trade Deshaun Watson?
I think the Texans do want to trade Deshaun Watson, but what they're asking for him, nobody wants to give them. They're still asking for like 3 first-round picks, a second, and like 3 or 4 players. Who's going to give up basically? And like they want starters, so who's going to basically give up a quarter of your starters on your team to go, to Houston? There ain't nobody going to do that.
So Combs, what Tori is saying is that
ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, ain't nobody got time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
So does Houston trade Deshaun Watson, and should they trade Deshaun Watson?
For all the reasons that Tori just said, I don't think they want to trade Deshaun Watson. That's why they're not coming down on their price. They don't want to move him. They don't like the way that he handled things. They think that, he was trying to skip town on them and all this. And he was, for good reason. But that's what this ownership is about. This ownership is about, for whatever reason, this ownership is about making sure their players are unhappy. And that's what they're doing. I don't think that they want to trade him. I don't think they will. If they do, it will be the Miami Dolphins with their 910 first-round picks over the next 3 years that they have.
Right.
It will be the Miami Dolphins because they'll have the most to give and they'll pay that price tag. So, I don't think that the Texans want to.
So let me ask this obvious question here, because obviously Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback on that roster, hands down. Yeah. No questions asked whatsoever. And the asking price for Deshaun Watson, what what Tori said, was 3 first-round picks, a couple second-round picks, and some valuable players as well. So are the Houston Texans purposely tanking this season despite them winning week 1? That's just a hashtag there, or a asterisk, or whatever you want to call it. Are they purposely tanking the 2021 season to get a first overall pick? So when they do get those 3 draft picks, they basically have 4 first-round picks, and they could basically flip the whole team around. Combs, are they tanking?
No, they're not tanking. They are making Deshaun Watson pay for wanting to get out of town. Like I just said, they're not, so I guess in a sense, maybe they are tanking. But even with Deshaun Watson, we saw it last year. They were a 3-win or 4-win team. It's not, as great as Deshaun Watson is, they just have nothing there. There's nothing there. There's no defense. There's no weapons on offense. There is nothing there. And it's hard to watch sometimes. And I feel for Deshaun Watson. I really think that Deshaun Watson deserves to go to an organization that will allow him to be the winning quarterback that he should be in this league. So, I think they're tanking. I think it's more about making Deshaun Watson suffer than it is about tanking the season. They're willing to tank the season to make Deshaun Watson suffer.
So Combs, let me ask you this question, because Deshaun Watson's still getting paid. Is he really suffering by saving his body for next year, adding longevity onto his career and still making $100 million?
Yeah, because he's a competitor. He wants to win.
don't know,
mean,
man.
he wants to win. He wants to play. He wants to be on the field. He wants to win a Super Bowl. And I believe he could win a Super Bowl if he went to an organization that wanted to win. And that's clearly not the Houston Texans.
Well, I don't think it's clearly Miami either with having Tua as their quarterback. So, Tori, are the Houston Texans taking 2021?
I mean, but who are you tanking for? There's not like it's not like there's a Trevor Lawrence.
Spencer Rattler
Okay.
is not Trevor Lawrence, and you drafted Davis Mills in the second round. So you're not tanking for a quarterback. Who are you tanking for?
first overall pick for extra picks so you can move down. And
You
get
know
two
who they're
first round
taking
picks
for. They're going to take a running back with the number 1 overall pick. That's what. That's what.
No,
They're
they are
not the
gonna
Jets.
they are gonna sign David Johnson to a 4-year, $48 million extension. That's what they'll do. So that my big thing is the only reason that they would have to tank for that number 1 overall pick is to, like just Buck said, to try to flip it. But if there's no generational talent, or there's nobody that everybody's like, oh my God, I want to get up, and what do you do then? You're stuck with that first overall pick, and chances are they'll botch it.
Well,
So
I feel like the first round pick is always a very valuable pick for some person out there. So let's say, example, the Jets, they're a 10th or 11th pick this season somehow, some way, and the Houston Texans have that first overall pick, and the Jets want a offensive tackle because Micaiah Beckham had season-ending knee surgery, and they want to add depth there. I mean, I could definitely see somebody like the Jets or the Chicago Bears moving up into the pick to add depth to the offensive line, just because, the Bears need depth at offensive line, Jets need depth at offensive line. So why not try to move up in that first pick? I don't know. But speaking of moving up, what?
Oh, I don't know. You left it open. I thought maybe you wanted a response. Oh, that's fine. I don't.
Oh.
I don't want to respond to you anyway with all that. Packer stuff in the
Brandon,
background.
okay, let's stop quick. Brandon, how does that make you feel?
I see. Yeah.
I look, when you two go to bed tonight and cuddle and fall asleep on FaceTime talking about the Packers and wave your little Packers flags back and forth to each other while you lay there in your boxers and show each other
Sounds like a whole lot of jealousness coming out of his mouth.
You guys just go ahead and have your fun, and I'll go ahead and keep making this show look like it's actually smart.
You're 100% right. And I'm glad you're a part of this show. But speaking of tanking and trusting the process, Bill Simmons says he is officially done in Philly. So, Mr. Torrey Anderson, let me bring you on screen first here. Where's a good landing spot for Mr. Ben Simmons himself, Mr. No Shot outside of 10 foot?
That's a great question. Honestly, if you ask me, the one team that may make a play for him and him switching conference, the one that makes sense to me is the Portland Trailblazers, and shipping him off to Portland. You may have to give up McCollum, and is it really worth it to give up CJ McCollum to get Ben Simmons plus like other capital? I don't think so, but that's the location, just the style of ball they play and everything else. He wouldn't have to be the number 1 guy because Dame's the number 1 guy. He would not have to overexert himself. He would get to play a ton of defense, and he is a good defender. But he has time. I think he needs to change his scenery. He needs something to get his confidence back, and he needs different coaching. That's it.
So, Combs, I feel like you wanted to bring this up because you are a Chicago guy yourself. Where do you think Ben Simmons lands?
To be honest with you, I would say that the Bulls would be a great landing spot for him. I think that they've done a great job of already bringing in some guys that are key names. I believe, I'm not sure, they traded oh god, now I'm not gonna remember his damn name. They're forward there. God, why can't I think of his name? White guy.
Wendell Carter?
No.
Oh no, Lauri Markkanen.
Lauri Markkanen. They traded him, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, I don't know, man. If you go out and you get Ben Simmons, and you have to give up the newly acquired DeMar DeRozan, and you have to give up, a Kobe White and a draft pick, that's a win, isn't it? And that makes your team really, really stout. If you've got guys, if you've got Ball, you've got Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, or I'm sorry, not DeRozan because you would trade him. If you got Vucevic, and you've got Ben Simmons, I mean, you've got a pretty damn good team in a not so tough Eastern Conference.
Tori, what are your thoughts on that?
Not so tough. I'm pretty sure you have the world champions in your division.
That's what I was thinking.
But all right, so
and
by
that's
so
a fact.
Tough, I mean, you're not the West. You don't have
Right.
six
Yeah. Okay.
really, really strong teams. You've got
right.
2, maybe 3 really
You've got,
strong teams.
You've got outside of you've got Milwaukee, you've got Boston, you've got the Brooklyn, you've got
Don't sleep on the Knicks.
in the Sixers.
Stop. The Sixers aren't going to be anything though.
I bet you the Sixers are
What
better
do you
without
mean?
Ben Simmons.
They played basically without him
Yeah.
the last part of the season.
Right, but I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like they're really strong. You get Ben Simmons, you've got so you got Seth, you've got Danny Green. So I don't know. I mean, outside of Joel Embiid, who plays like a monster, I don't really feel like you're a powerhouse of a team like the Bulls would be if you have Ben Simmons, if you have Lonzo Ball running the point, and you've got Ben Simmons as your 2. Well, I guess at that point you probably make Lonzo your 2, right? And I said they would trade DeRozan. They'd probably put LaVine in that trade and not DeRozan. But you'd probably make Lonzo your 2 because Ben Simmons can't shoot. So you let Ben Simmons run the point and make and feed the ball and facilitate. I don't know. I feel like the Bulls is a very good landing spot for Ben Simmons.
Maybe on paper, but in real life, I don't think Simmons is. If Simmons leaves Philly, he's going to be like,
you know where he's going, right?
DeAndre Jordan, and just be floating around.
He's going to the Lakers because that's where everybody's going.
No, they're not. Absolutely,
everybody's already there. What do you mean?
They don't have any space. They don't have no money.
They signed everybody. I heard that Bugs Bunny and Lola just signed there too off of Space Jam, and they are going to be on that roster as well.
Okay. So speaking of signing everybody here, the American League playoff race is starting to heat up. There are 4 teams that are officially eliminated from the playoffs: the Orioles, the Royals, the Twins, and the Rangers. So Combs, baseball is your bread and butter here. Who is the best team in American League right now, and who represents them in the World Series?
I really want to say the Chicago White Sox are the best team in the American League. I just feel like Tony La Russa is going to find a way to cost them a game and lose a series for them. If I had to go with the best team right now in the American League, I'm just going to go with the team right now that really has the best record, and that's the Tampa Bay Rays. I think they played the best ball. I think they pitched the best out of all of those teams. I think that the Tampa Bay Rays can compete with anybody in the American League. I think they can compete with anybody in Major League Baseball, including the Los Angeles Dodgers. We could see a repeat of last year's World Series. And I didn't think that was possible before the season, especially after they got rid of all the pitching that they did. They're like the St. Louis Cardinals, aren't they? Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
No matter what team they put on the field, they always seem to freaking win. And they're gonna win the division. They're up by 7.5 games, I believe, on the division. So I just, I think that they are the most dangerous team in the American League.
So Tori, you said Tori, you heard it. Who is your most dangerous team in the American League?
I'm the same, but we've said it from the get-go that Tony La Russa was going to end up torpedoing the White Sox. And I think as the season goes on, we're going to see it more and more come to fruition. But going into the playoffs, I'm going with the Blue Jays right now. The Blue Jays could make a little bit of noise in the playoffs. The Blue Jays are finally becoming that young team that we thought they were going to become. And that we thought they were going to be earlier in the year. This is a team that I think will get into the playoffs and all of a sudden be like, huh, they're pushing some of the big boys around.
Yeah.
You know,
and this is a pitching staff. I mean, we talk a lot about the Dodgers pitching staff. This is a sneaky, quiet pitching staff with Robbie Ray. If Ryu comes in healthy before the playoffs start, I believe he's on the IR still. But if he comes off before the playoffs and gets back in there and gets back to form, they got Jose Barrios and Manoah as well. And their fifth starter is Steven Matz, who's a veteran pitcher in the league, still a very solid pitcher, but he's going to be coming out of the bullpen, and that bullpen is dangerous as well. So the Toronto Blue Jays are a good pick there. I really like the Toronto Blue Jays. I would love to see the Toronto Blue Jays pull something crazy off and go on and win a World Series. That would be a lot of fun to watch because they're a scrappy young team.
So let me ask you guys this cool question. For a team that's currently not leading their division and like maybe in third, if not fourth place, do any of those teams make a run and make the playoffs and make a World Series run by chance, Combs?
The teams that are in third or fourth place?
Yeah.
I think the only team that really has a shot might be the New York Yankees. That's the only team I believe that could come out and just get hot at the right time and pull something crazy out of the hat, and the Yankee Stadium magic in October finds its way back, because they do have the offense that if they just go off, it's good. They're going to be hard to stop. Their pitching is good enough to get them through and to compete with really good pitching. So if there is any team that's going to come from behind and make a run at this thing, that's the team I would pick, would be the New York Yankees.
Tori, any thoughts on that?
Oh, a team that can kind of. I'm trying to find the wild card standings right now here.
Well, you're looking at third or fourth in the division. You're talking about the Toronto Blue Jays, New York Yankees,
the Mariners,
or the Oakland A's.
Oh. Well, the A's are in second in the division,
right? But they could be third by the end of because they're only a game difference with the Mariners.
Right. I'm gonna go with Oakland. Oakland is streaky, as we've seen.
Yeah.
They will play horrible for stretches and then beat everybody in their path. And then they get to the Major League Baseball playoffs, and then they just completely collapse, especially if they play the Yankees.
All right, so you heard it here first, guys. Yankees will make it to the World Series and lose versus the Atlanta Braves. So, with that being, no,
why you discredited my picks now?
First of all, nobody said that. Neither one of us picked the Yankees to be the best. I said if there was a team that had an outside shot, it would be the New York Yankees. I said that the Tampa Bay Rays were the best team in the American League, and Tori said the Toronto Blue Jays were the best team in the American League right now.
So the Yankees win.
And
the
you
World
came up with
Series.
Yankees and Braves.
All right, guys.
Welcome to Buck Math.
Speaking of the New York Yankees, so the LA Rams played the San Francisco 49ers this weekend, and
well, speaking of LA sports
there's
and nobody caring about this particular sport, hockey. First week is October 12th here. That's roughly 3 weeks away. But the Columbus Blue Jackets are not allowing Zach Ronaldo, who signed a two-way contract this summer, to come to camp because he is unvaccinated. Tori, is this a bad look for the NHL?
To each their own, really, on this one. Like, I get it. Like, the NBA is not mandating the vaccinations, but I think it all depends on what the vaccination numbers are league wide. Like, like I said, if you're at like 80%, they're probably like, yeah, whatever. We're not doing a mask mandate because 80% of the league's, vaccinated. I don't know what the numbers are in the NHL, and I would have a sneaking suspicion that it has something to do with that not enough players, or the numbers are not high enough for vaccinated players. And they're kind of like, nope, we're not letting you come in. If at that point they can mandate it for everybody's safety, they can do it.
Combs, you are a hockey guy. What are your thoughts on this?
First, hey Buck, can you tell me what this guy's name is again?
Ronaldo.
What is it?
Ronaldo.
Zach Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
Look, I think it's a bad look. I don't think that you can stop a man from doing his job or a woman for doing their job because of their decision on what to do with their body. Like, for some, this has to be like, I don't understand all of this stuff, and I don't understand, and I'm not going to get political here, but I don't understand how this isn't a HIPAA violation.
Vaccines
How
are
is
not
the fact
HIPAA
that
violations.
They're
I
not,
have to
because-
show?
Yeah.
But this, all right. So this is again,
Because it comes
we're
down
gonna
to
go.
public
We're gonna
safety,
go. Off, we're
though.
gonna go off bad. We're gonna end up getting kicked off YouTube. Stop calling this damn thing a vaccine. I get vaccinated for the SARS. I get vaccinated for all sorts of measles, all that stuff, and I don't get it. This is a COVID shot, not a COVID vaccination. So stop with that stuff. First of all.
Well, now we just got kicked
Second
off
of
the
all,
air.
Second of all, you should not be
Demonetized.
able to stop somebody from doing their job because of a choice that they make that has no impact on yourself or on your business. And you can say it does all you want. You can say, oh, well, if they get the shot, then they won't get sick and they won't miss work, and that affects us. I got the shot. I got sick. I missed work. So just because you get it doesn't mean you're not going to get sick or get people sick.
You're right.
So
But your recovery time, though, from vaccinated to unvaccinated is a lot shorter.
really, because my father-in-law is vaccinated, and he was the first one in the family vaccinated, and he was sick for a little over 4 weeks, and it was really bad. So his recovery time didn't speed up.
Well,
And-
like
and
no,
he
I
was
know
vaccinated.
I'm vaccinated, and if I get it, my recovery
Right.
time is going to be longer because I'm diabetic.
Right, but see that it's kind of like hedging your bets, right? So well, if they get it, they're gonna be, oh, but if they have this, or if they I let the doctors do their thing, I let the scientists do their thing. I got the shot because I didn't want to wear a mask, to be quite honest with you, and I also didn't want to get other people sick. I don't want to be the reason why somebody else catches it, or whatever the case is. But I don't understand how an NHL franchise can say, you know what, you're not even welcome at camp. You're not welcome to come do this. The Major League Baseball has players that are refusing to get it. The NBA has players that are refusing to get it. The NFL has players that aren't getting it. They all have rules on what happens if you miss a game or whatnot. But the NHL is just like, all of a sudden the Columbus Blue Jackets is just like, nope, you're not coming to practice. You're not coming to camp. We just signed you to a 2-year deal, but you're not coming to camp.
Well,
They didn't know. They didn't know before they signed him to a 2-year deal this summer that he wasn't going to get the vaccination.
probably not, because the vaccine wasn't
Well, that's
out there
their
yet, but-
problem then.
Uh,
Yeah,
well,
it was. What do
but-
you mean? It's been out since early in the spring. They signed him this summer.
Okay, I mean, like I don't know one way.
And
or
it
the
could
other.
have been at that
Yeah.
point. It might have been a handshake deal. Said, "Hey, we need to get vaccinated." Yeah, I'll do that. It just never did. I mean, we don't know we
Right.
don't know
Yeah.
the backroom deal that got maybe made that's not on paper. You
Yes,
know?
yeah. So also on the flip side of this, we saw it with the Buffalo Bills too. They said they were going to cut unvaccinated players, and they
Cole Beasley still hasn't gotten it.
I'm saying, like, so they ultimately folded on there because winning cures all, and the Buffalo Bills are winning right now, and Cole Beasley is doing well. So if the Columbus Blue Jackets start to maybe not do so well in the regular season, they're like, hey, you know what, man? We know what we told you in September, but it's now November and we're 0-3 and we're down by like 16 points or like whatever. We need some help. Right.
That NHL math was terrible.
They're 0-3. They're down by
0-3, down by
16.
16.
What did everybody else play 12 games in there?
Isn't it goals like isn't that like
You get
how
you
many
get 2
points?
points. You get 2 points for a
Which
win.
for a win.
1
Oh.
point for a tie or an overtime loss.
I don't know. I thought it was how many goals you scored. My
Which
bad.
Brandon, as we get closer to hockey season, Brandon and I are going to have a good hockey conversation. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
we
that?
definitely bring hockey onto the show.
With the
What is that
will there
hockey
e-
conversation?
will there ever be a 15?
Our Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding. Protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckshire with Brandon Combs and Tori Anderson tonight. We've covered NFL, we've covered NHL, NBA, and Major League Baseball. We've completed the trifecta tonight, gentlemen. But it is time to end the show with some shop talk. So if you guys have any questions here, go to youtube.com/Man Hour and ask us some questions. But Combs, I got a question for you right off the bat here. Who are your top 5 NFL receivers in the league right now?
So, I mean, 1 and 2 are easy, as Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins, and you could flip them either way and argue it, and you'd be fine either way that you go. Number 3 right now, I'm going to go with CeeDee Lamb. I really like what CeeDee Lamb's doing out in Dallas. I think that he's going to have a hell of a year. I think having Dak back is going to allow him to really put up some monstrous numbers. Number 4, I am going to go out to, man, this one's a tough one. I put this damn thing together and I didn't even really prepare for this segment. But I'm gonna go out to Kansas City and I'm gonna take Tyreek Hill. And I really like Tyreek Hill. I like what he's doing. And then at number 5, this might come as a bit of a shock to a lot of people, but I'm going with Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp is a phenomenal wide receiver. I think he's going to have a great year with Matthew Stafford. Them two have an unbelievable chemistry right now. The way that they're looking out in LA, it's going to be a fun season, and Matthew Stafford's going to do a lot more smiling. So I'm going to go with those are my top 5 right now.
Now, these are the 2021 seasons. So just I want to put that out there.
Right now, I mean, including the first 2 weeks. That's what I'm doing.
Right.
Tori, what about you?
Like D Hop is number 1, Nuke is number 1, hands down. I'm actually gonna put, I'm glad Brandon brought it up. I'm gonna put Cooper Kupp actually up as the second best receiver in the NFL right now.
Wow. Very good.
Over Devontae, huh?
Over Devontae. I don't even have Devontae in my top 5.
Wow.
So
all right.
Tyreek is number 3 right now in my book. Tyreek's doing Tyreek things. And this is where I leapfrogged. I'm going to put Tyler Lockett as the 4th best receiver in the league right now.
I like him.
Tyler Lockett is catching everything.
Yeah.
He is the deep target for
hands.
Russell Wilson right now. Hands and speed for days. And so I actually have Devontae Adams at 6, but then I actually have Amari Cooper right now in the 5th spot. And I'm just basically kind of stats wise on what they've produced so far. I mean, Devontae didn't do squat in week 1, so all his production was from last night.
Yeah, you know what's funny is that you didn't have Devontae in there. I didn't have my guy Allen Robinson, which I'm a big Allen Robinson guy. But watching him drop that easy pass in the end zone this past Sunday, I like him even more now that we're gonna have number 1 under center. I like him even more, but you've got to catch passes like that, and that's the one knock I have on a guy like Allen Robinson is he can't win those balls where he's tightly defended. He doesn't win jump balls. He doesn't win those ones where he's about to get hit. So that's the one knock I have on him. So that's why I didn't even have him in my top 5.
Are you guys sleeping on Justin Jefferson, the Vikings receiver?
No. Not yet. No, if you look at that rookie Osaba or Oboza, I can't remember Osaba, KJ something for the Vikings. That kid had a monster game, looking like he might start. He might push Adam Thielen out of town, but after this season.
Really?
Adam Thielen's 32 years old.
True. But, I guess I feel like the Vikings hang on to players too long, like as the Patriots. Yeah.
Everson Griffin.
Yeah. Just like how the Patriots cut them before, when we all think they have a year left or 2 years left. The Vikings hang on 2-3 years past what they should have. So yeah, I mean that is crazy to me just to even think that. So another question that I have for you here is
wait, Buck, who's your top 5?
Yeah, who's your top 5?
Ooh, my top 5.
Look at and where the heck's the wheel?
I don't have the wheel. I thought Tori had it.
You never told me to order it. I was going to send it to you. So I was going to ship it to your house.
I can just
Tomorrow
we're
spinning the wheel, and I'll make sure I set it up on the randomizer, and we'll do
I
the wheel
can set up a wheel on the actual stream so we can all check out the stream and see it. I actually have from 5 to 1. I like Allen Robinson from the Bears. Combs, yes, he did have that big drop, but receivers always drop passes, and it just happened to be a little bit bigger than others. So I have him coming in at number 5. I have Stephon Diggs coming in at 4. The stats may not quite be there yet, but they will be there. So I'm kind of basing it off of projections. So Stephon Diggs at 4. And then this is where it gets kind of muddy, I think, because I do like Devontae Adams, but Tori brought up a great point. He had a terrible week 1. So I think I got to put AJ Brown in there. I think he is what is going to make that Tennessee Titans team click is AJ Brown, not King Henry or anybody like that.
They were down by 20 points and they handed the ball to King Henry instead of throwing to AJ Brown.
Yeah, but
when
they,
AJ
but
when
they
AJ
learned.
Brown let one ball slip right through his hands.
Yeah, I don't know, but it is what it is. And then I got Hopkins, and then of course my man Tyreek Hill. So
Homer.
call it what you want, but
You
Tyreek
have
Hill is
Tyreek
easily
Hill over DeAndre Hopkins right now.
yeah.
Have you seen what DeAndre Hopkins has done? Not only last year, the year before that, and the year before that. Have you seen what he's done in the first 2 weeks?
I thought we were talking strictly just the first 2 weeks.
That's what I just said.
Right,
Have you
so
seen what he's
why-
done in the
like-
first 2 weeks?
Way to make the point.
Yeah.
Listen to what I'm saying. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
No, I'm from Kansas. We don't hear things. We just talk. But
Clearly.
yeah, I mean, but like I don't know. I mean, just like I feel like week 2 it is so subjective. Just because, like what Tori said, Adams had a horrible week 1, so he has him at number 6, basically just based off of week 2. So I mean, like I feel like we in the back of our heads, like we assume they're going to be doing good things, so we have to put them where we,
But-
yeah.
If you statistically, stat wise, he's the 6th best receiver in the league right now.
Okay,
Even having a crappy week 1.
I give you that. Okay. So, speaking of crappy week 1s, the Broncos and the Raiders have not had crappy week 1s. They're 2-0. Who is more surprising 2-0 team?
Wait, can you explain your math? They didn't have crappy week 1s, but they're 2-0. So wouldn't it be they didn't have crappy week 1 and 2, so they're 2-0?
They didn't have crappy week 1, so they did well.
And then you busted it right into 2-0.
Yeah.
From week 1 without talking. about week
You're welcome.
2.
It's Buccaneers.
It's Buccaneers.
The more impressive 2-0 to me is the Las Vegas Raiders. They've beaten better teams. I mean, they didn't beat the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New York Giants. They went on to go ahead and beat some really solid teams in God, why do I always Buck threw me off. He left the screen. I don't know what the hell's going on right now. Oh God, he's got the cheese head on. Oh my. Why? Why?
Michelle called 911. He's about to have a heart attack.
I don't get it. But anyway, they beat the Baltimore Ravens. They beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. And to me, those are just more quality wins than what.
Go back, go.
Shake it bake.
You gotta shake it before you bake it. Sorry, Holmes. Go,
No, he's
Go
really
Pat, go.
not.
go, Pat, go.
He's really not.
Go, Pat,
Go ahead,
go.
Tori.
I'm going to say it's neither of those teams that's impressive as a 2-0 team. I'm going with the Carolina Panthers. Actually, Wayne G and I talked about that last night. The Panthers look good. That is a defense that looks like it's going to start stomping on people week in and week out. That is a very solid defense. They have Sam Darnold looking like the quarterback we all thought he was going to be. And they have a healthy CMC. They have Robbie Anderson. They have DJ Moore. It's a team with weapons. To me, they're kind of the surprise team of all 2-0 teams. They are the surprise one and probably the best 2-0 team right now.
You think that a win over the Texans is more impressive than a win over the Ravens, who just beat the Chiefs?
Texans look damn good the week 1. With Tyrod Taylor, that future Hall of Famer himself. Oh, my bad. Are you all right there?
No,
Mike, check one,
give me
two.
Carolina. Give me Carolina all day long on this situation, just because this is a team that nobody was expecting to be very good at all this year.
How about this? The San Francisco 49ers. Yes, I know, they've had, quote, 2 bad wins there, but they traveled from west to east, both of those games and both early games. So, I mean, we've spoke on it. It's tough to travel to the East Coast and
But
win
you
on those
expected the Niners to be 2-0, though, didn't you? You expected the Niners to be a good team. You're
You
talking
guys
about
did, I didn't.
impressive. It's got to be teams that aren't expected to do good. Well,
I
you
expected
also
them to
picked the
start
Lions to
0-3.
be 10-7.
I expected the
So
49ers to
you're-
start 0-3.
But again, you picked the Lions to be 10-7, and they're 0-2, and they're probably going to be 0-7, and then they're
fine.
probably going to be 0-9
That's
and
fine.
0-11,
10 wins,
and
baby.
then you're still going to pick them
Playoffs.
to be 10-7.
Buck, I gotta say, as a Wisconsinite, I'm embarrassed for you for as much cheesehead stuff as you have.
I got like 4 T-shirts and 2 jerseys now too.
How many? You should have got cheeseheads for the kids so they can just run headfirst into each other when they get rambunctious.
He probably got them cheesehead diapers, is what he got. He probably
We got 4 cheeseheads and a football. We're gonna go Packers fans as Halloween. I may or may not have got the cheesehead butt.
Man Hour Nation, rise up.
did Cindy buy the cheesehead bra?
You got it on order. Tori, sent us out, big guy.
Man, our nation, rise up.